I would love to be considered for the position. So would I.
May the best woman win.
Okay, folks, we got a showdown next week. Sabrina versus Paige for an unknown position at the bank. I don't know. I thought Sabrina, working at her old bank, she was back to being manager. But when you have someone like Paige who's micromanaging, no pun intended, I guess we are to somewhat assume that Paige could be the branch manager and then Sabrina is the assistant manager. Like I said, I could be wrong. The story didn't tell us exactly what's up. All we know is that after speaking with corporate, Sabrina was able to convince the higher ups to put her back at her old bank as opposed to making her assistant manager at the downtown branch. So Paige, in my opinion, was probably someone who worked at the bank the whole time and then got up to manager because Sabrina wasn't there, or because Sabrina was arrested and terminated, Paige was brought in from another branch to be the manager. And even though Sabrina wanted her old job back, well, hey, we can give you a position at your familiar bank that you always worked at, but we already have a manager, so we can give you assistant manager. So I don't know. I honestly don't know the hierarchy right now. But regardless, we do know that she's been working a lot, so much to the point where Rich is like, look, you're putting in all these hours and whatnot to try to prove yourself to these people to show that they made the right decision hiring you back, but you shouldn't need to do that. So now we're in a position where it's Sabrina versus Paige for, I don't know. We'll find out next week what the position is. I don't know, district manager or something, but it's going to be pretty interesting to see Sabrina dealing with something that's different than Maurice being unprofessional on the job. And it's funny because I mentioned this in the trailer breakdown about how I think Sabrina is extremely capable, hence why she's in the position she's in. But I think Maurice was holding her back because it seems like she spent more time babysitting him than, doing the best she can at her job. And I mean, this is a weird comparison to make, nor am I trying to poke the bear by starting drama, but as a fan of Kev on stage and, from his old sketch videos to when he did Periscope to the birth of Righteous and Ratchet, him and Doughboy, they had their podcast. I think it was in his wife Melissa's sewing room. And then they eventually got their own office. And then they went to an even bigger office. Huge hit on Patreon, going on tours and whatnot. But they eventually had some sort of falling out behind the scenes and Righteous and Ratchet was no more. And a lot of fans who followed the, career path was like, man, when you really think about it, Doughboy was bringing Kev down because Kev had to pick up the slack when Doughboy wasn't cutting it. But as soon as Doughboy was cut loose, Kev, his star just shot up. It began to rise at an incredible rate. And look at where he is now, So it's almost the same thing with Sabrina now that Maurice isn't in the picture at the bank. Sabrina is able to do her job. You could tell she doesn't really enjoy it as much as she used to because she's trying to overcompensate because, she wants to show that, hey, you made the right call giving me my job back. Maurice isn't there for her to have a good time with. And now she's being micromanaged by Paige all the time. So I think something to that effect is definitely impacting her in more ways than one. So maybe getting this position could be a way of her finding a sense of, reassurance in herself. But then again, I'm just also thinking, oh my goodness, if she gets this position, is this how Maurice gets his job back? I could definitely see that happening because Sabrina, let's say she wins over Paige and gets this whatever position, and then she's put into a position of power where she can actually get Maurice back on the job because she doesn't want Maurice engaging in his online activity anymore. Oh boy, it's like they say, look, when you level up, you can't always bring everybody with you. So I think Sabrina might make a mistake by putting Maurice back on the job because we know he's going to be working at the bank again. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Do you think that Sabrina has what it takes to beat Paige? If she does, do you think that she should let Maurice come back or not? All right. Well, regardless, thanks so much for tuning in. Like and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next video.